The suspect in Wednesday's shooting in Ottawa, Michael Zahaf Bibeau, had recently undergone a religious awakening that left at least one friend alarmed, according to the Canadian newspaper Globe and Mail. Reports from Canada say Zahaf Bibeau was blocked from traveling by government officials who have been monitoring extremists to prevent them from joining the Islamic State. Has radical Islam reached a new level, or is this just an isolated incident? For analysis, we're joined by Qasim Rashid, the national spokesperson for the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Welcome to you.
Thanks for having me, Lisa. Pleasure to be here.
Qasim, as a representative from inside the Muslim community, what has been the reaction to this increased number of incidents that we're seeing?
Well, for starters, I think, let me make it very clear that all Muslims that I've spoken to, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, and the Muslims across America and Canada have categorically condemned this horrible murder without qualification, without exception. Our goal is to continually work together as Americans, as Canadians, to promote pluralism, to promote tolerance and understanding of one another. What this individual did is a horrific crime, and it's a reflection of the confusion and ignorance some people have to what Islam actually teaches. Nothing in Islam permits this barbaric act, and it is condemnable without exception.
And I know that you've been outspoken about putting that out there, that there are moderate Muslims and this does not represent Islam. But what has been done by the community and people like yourself to make these incidents less prevalent?
Well, let me start by saying the term moderate Muslim is redundant. It's like saying wet water. Islam is by definition a moderate religion. Radicalization is not a religious issue. It's an issue of people who have ignorance. I was doing some research on this. According to Harvard University, there have been over 200 mass shootings in the United States over the last 8 years. The vast majority, almost 70%, have been young white men at the age of 31. So what that tells us is that this is a worldwide, a cross-cultural epidemic that we need to continue to work together. What the Ahmadiyya Muslim community has done is create programs for youth empowerment, for youth identity. This includes the Muslims for Life blood drive, where we host thousands of blood drives to raise blood for the victims of 9/11 in honor of them. Our youth association has marched on Capitol Hill to combat hunger. We engage in Adopt a Highway programs. We work with interfaith programs with Christians, other Muslim organizations, with Jews, to find ways to build a stronger understanding of service to humanity and what Islam and what these great religions actually teach, and that is peace with one another and peace between man and God.
But there could be more done proactively, right, to stop the radicalization. And I understand what you're saying about, Islam being a religion, the way Christianity is, the way Judaism is. But those other two religions, Christianity and Judaism, they don't have the problem of radicalization in the name of their religion. You have the concept of jihad being a religious concept. And I understand if you want to say that it was hijacked, it's being used, it's being misused, it's being abused, correct? I mean, what can be done more proactively to stop the radicalization of Canadians, of Americans here at home?
Well, I think we need to do a couple of things. One, we need to promote education and dialogue instead of fear-mongering. Fear-mongering has never accomplished anything in the history of mankind. Two, I think we need to stop this blame game of it's only an Islamic issue. Radicalization works across the board. Wade Michael Phelps was a radicalized neo-Nazi so-called Christian when he killed Sikh Americans in Oak Creek, Wisconsin. Timothy McVeigh affiliated with Christianity. The KKK
Qasim, but just to be fair, that's a smaller number in a number of decades, right? Where you have the radicalized Muslims. I can name you dozens within a couple of weeks. I mean, what can we do to, instead of using this comparison, which is probably an unfair comparison, what can we do to go forward and to make this less of a problem here? Right.
Well, so as I said, I think the comparisons are irrelevant because radicalization goes across cultures. And what we can do by going forward, one, is stop the fear-mongering. Two, engage in dialogue. That's why I was grateful for the invitation to come on this program. So Americans can see that Muslims do, in fact, condemn terrorism. So young Muslims can see Muslim spokespersons and Muslim leaders reach out and condemn extremism in every way, shape, and form to help recognize that jihad does not mean holy war. Jihad is the internal struggle to combat evil, to combat violence. It's been a completely maligned subject. And what we can do on a cross-cultural, cross-religious standpoint is work together in service to humanity. This is why I go back to what the Muslims for Life Blood Drive does. The worldwide head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, His Holiness the Khalifa of Islam, Mirza Masroor Ahmad, has lectured on Capitol Hill before European Parliament to condemn all forms of terrorism and to demonstrate that Islam stands for service to humanity and service to God through peace and through understanding. Once we can promote that education on a more consistent level, you'll begin to see much more cohesion and peace established.
Thank you for joining us, Qasim, and for condemning terrorism. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, too.